This is essentially where the shooting started, up here at Crump and 4th Street. Behind me, these buildings here, you can see just a line of bullet holes down these 3 homes here on the siding. Some of the holes very distinct. Some of them looks like the bullets may have just grazed the side of the buildings here, but a lot of evidence markers left behind too. Police ended up setting out 87 evidence markers. Of course, the ending of the scene further down Crump Boulevard near Mason Street. Let's show you what the scene looked like when I first got out here early this morning. Memphis police say they were called out to this area of Crump and Mason just after 11:30 last night. When officers got to the scene, they found a man lying on the street on that curb area of Crump and Mason. He had been shot. As officers were trying to block off the street so investigators can begin conducting their investigation, police say a second victim crashed their car into 2 police squad cars. That victim's car ended up flipping and overturning. As police went to go help that victim, they noticed he had been shot as well. Both gunshot victims rushed to Regional 1 Hospital in critical condition. One of the victims did not survive. The second victim is still in critical condition at this moment. No Memphis police officers were injured in those crashes. They weren't even in their squad cars. They did have their emergency lights flashing, though. At this point now, investigators are trying to piece together what happened, what led up to this shooting in the first place, and they're also still trying to find the person responsible. So if you have any information, you're urged to call Crime Stoppers. In South Memphis, Sheila O'Connor, Fox 13 News.
This General Sessions Court judge ruling that they're working to appeal is Judge Bill Anderson. Now, just yesterday, Anderson reduced the bail from $260,000 to nothing for a man charged in a 12-hour standoff in Whitehaven. Just last week, Christopher Smith faces attempted murder charges for shooting at Memphis police officers. The judge ordered a mental evaluation in that case, but get this, earlier this month, Judge Anderson also released 3 men on their own recognizance charged in the shooting of a co-worker at the FedEx World Hub on Democrat. Anderson argues ROR is a form of bail, even though the defendants pay no money. The DA disagrees and plans to appeal those rulings made by Judge Anderson to a criminal court judge.
I mean, clearly, there have been more of these controversial bail decisions in that particular court than in other courts, right? But, you know, I just don't think we should personalize this. You know, I just don't think we should demonize individuals. You know, we'll respectfully disagree with the court when we do.
So the DA's office successfully appealed another of Judge Anderson's ROR decisions in September. Released Dayton Gunn, the man accused of shooting several people outside of Rail Garden in Midtown. Just a few months ago, a criminal court judge stepped in and ordered a $100,000 bond be reinstated for Dayton Gunn. Now, Fox 13 will continue to follow up on these appeals. We'll let you know what happens, keeping you updated both on air and online at fox13memphis.com.
Memphis police shut down Winchester for a good 5 hours here near Winbrook as they investigated what we now know wasn't just a crash, but also a shooting. Take a look at the vehicle, this mangled mess left behind. Memphis police say they arrived to find that car overturned in this grassy field off of Winchester in Winbrook around 3 o'clock this morning. They say they found 3 people inside, a man, a woman, and a 1-year-old baby. All 3 were taken to 3 separate hospitals. At last check, that woman was in critical condition. The man and the baby expected to be okay. That is the good news. But Memphis police say, again, this wasn't just a crash. They were investigating. They learned that the woman in that car had been involved in what they said was a verbal altercation at a separate location. And they say that led to someone then opening fire, shooting at this vehicle, causing them to crash, again, to overturn into this ditch. Now, right now, we're working to learn if Memphis police have any information on who the shooter or shooters were, if they have anyone in custody, if anyone's facing charges right now. We'll let you know as soon as we get more information and any more details on the conditions of those 3 people who, unfortunately, were shot at and then were injured in this car crash. in Whitehaven, CAROLYN, CERDA, Fox 13 News.
Talk about a very unique potential solution to this growing problem. School board members say that even now, almost halfway through the school year, there are some students in classrooms that don't have a permanent teacher. So they're looking into starting a contract with a company called Proximity Learning to provide those virtual teachers. Here's the thing, there's a pretty hefty price tag for this. The contract would cost $4.6 million and it would cover the next 6 months. Board members do agree that something definitely needs to be done to help solve this teacher shortage. They still have hundreds of openings, but other board members were skeptical that virtual teachers would actually even be effective in the classroom, especially because how costly this could be.
Have the real critical conversations about our buildings, the number of buildings that we have, the enrollment in several of them, and the true decisions that have to be made, because if we had the same number today with fewer buildings, if you will, then we could fill more of our positions.
Now, last time Fox 13 checked with Memphis-Shelby County Schools, about a quarter of their job openings were in special education classes. Proximity Learning says that their teachers can cover those classrooms. Stick with Fox 13. We will keep you updated as the story continues to develop. Outside Memphis-Shelby County Schools headquarters, Sheila O'Connor, Fox 13 News.